1 against the Atlanta Falcons, Justin Fields went 17 for 23, had 156 yards, no passing touchdowns. He ran the ball 14 times, had 57 yards rushing total, had a fumble, but he didn't lose it. Week 2 against the Denver Broncos, Justin went 13 for 20, had 117 yards, had 1 passing touchdown, 18 rushing attempts, 27 yards total, had another fumble, but he didn't lose it. Week 3 against the Chargers, 25 for 32, 245 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 pick. He ran the ball for 6 yards, had 1 rushing touchdown. And then in week 4 against the Colts, 22 for 34, 312 yards, 1 touchdown, had 2 fumbles, and lost 1. I will give Justin Fields a C. When Arthur Smith was the head coach for the Atlanta Falcons, at the time I used a MMA analogy to describe their offense. And I said that the Falcons were the wrestler. They're the fighter who's going to wrestle you and wear you down, punch you, knee you, put you in the clinch, ground and pound, try to submit you, right? Just tire you out and apply pressure. They're not a striker, or they weren't a striker. They weren't the Bills, the Seahawks, the Chiefs, teams who could and are still spreading the ball all over the field. Although the Chiefs' offense looks stagnant, but they're still capable of hitting you with a big play. But my point is that they were not throwing the ball around. They were not attacking defenses, spreading them out, getting guys out of zone coverages, and making big plays down the field. And that's where the Steelers are right now. Now that Arthur Smith is offensive coordinator, they're not having Justin Fields do a whole lot. They're running the ball a lot more. They're playing to his strengths. They're utilizing his legs, play actions, bootlegs, getting him out of the pocket. At times, they'll fake a handoff to Najee Harris and then run a little RPO to get Justin Fields in space. They're having him throw it into the flat, check downs, hitting receivers in soft spots in zone coverages. So he's not doing a whole lot in this offense. Pittsburgh Steelers are the MMA fighter who is ground and pound, knee you, punch you, elbow you, clinch, take you down, try to submit you, wear you out. That's what their offense is now. Can he be a franchise quarterback? He's still young. He's only 25 years old. He hasn't had any major injuries to his body, and he's in a more structured environment when he was in Chicago. Mike Tomlin is a guy who's been there, done that. He's consistently made it to the playoffs. Even when he had mediocre Pittsburgh Steelers offenses with an aging Big Ben Roethlisberger who was turning the ball over a lot, Deontay Johnson who was dropping passes, Juju Smith-Schuster who was supposed to be the guy when Antonio Brown left. That didn't really pan out too well. He had Antonio Brown on his roster who was a shithead, so he managed to keep him under control somehow. And if the Steelers continue to win, and if they manage to have a pretty good record, like if they rattle off 11 or 12 wins, maybe get a playoff home game or 2, then that might get Justin Fields a new contract to be the franchise quarterback. But he's going to have to improve his level of play because they can't keep running this one-dimensional offense to where it's so run heavy, run first and then pass second, because teams are going to catch on to it. And when he lines up under center and Najee Harris is in the backfield, teams are probably going to say, okay, they're probably going to run the ball, so they're going to crowd the line of scrimmage. Or if they do a play-action bootleg, the linebackers aren't really going to bite on that play fake. They're going to drop back into coverage. Teams are going to try and blitz him a lot more, make him get rid of the football. And Justin is going to have to become more of a passer. I noticed that when he's going through his reads, he's really slow. He'll lock on to one wide receiver. He'll get him the ball, but when he locks on to one wide receiver, he stays on that wide receiver for too long. And then by the time he goes to his second read, it's too late. He's getting sacked, or a defensive end or a defensive tackle is in the backfield, and he is trying to keep a play alive by avoiding a sack. And this style of play really puts pressure on the defense. And I understand that the Steelers have a great defense. I would say top 5 defense. If you're not scoring touchdowns and giving your defense a lead to work with, and you're kicking field goals or having 3 and outs, then your defense is on the field a lot more. They're getting more tired. It puts pressure on them to keep other teams out of the end zone or to hold them to field goals. So there has to be a balance. at some point. The recipe to win football games can't be heavily reliant on one side. He has managed to develop a connection with the George Pickens a little bit. When he throws a goal ball to Pickens, they usually connect, but that's about it. Flats, checkdowns, a goal ball occasionally to Pickens down the field. So yeah, I think that there is a chance that Justin Fields can flourish in Pittsburgh. So those are my thoughts on Mr. Fields. Anyone that comes across this video, please tell me what you think. Please like and subscribe. That is it, and I am out.